from the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Hey Ashley, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Did you get a flyer?
Bella, you mean the flyers the baseball team was handing out to promote their big AC series this weekend against Notre Dame?
Exactly what I'm talking about. I sadly did not get an invite, but I'll still show up to the party and bring some luck. Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Bella Geskos.
And I'm Ashley Humphrey. Baseball is back at the Bosch this weekend. After playing 7 straight away games, the Diamond Heels are home to face the Fighting Irish. The team is undefeated at Boshamer Stadium this season, going 20-0. Senior Parks Harbor has been unstoppable, going on a 10-game hitting streak, including 9 home runs and 19 RBIs. Seeing Notre Dame's Week 2-13 conference record, Parks hopes to hit it out of the park for the Tar Heels tonight at 6. For a look at some players who might have an impact in the Notre Dame series this weekend, let's hit it on over to our baseball analyst, Caroline Daly, for Daily on the Diamond. Caroline?
Ashley, the difference in this Diamond Heels team compared to last year is the transfers and freshmen they've added to the roster, replacing some key players who left for the draft this past spring. These new faces might not hit as many flashy home runs as star player Vance Honeycutt, but they know how to get on base and drive in runners in scoring position. The focus of this team has always been Honeycutt. He's hitting .281 right now, so that's not too bad, but all of these transfers and freshmen, they're hitting better than him right now. The transfers who've stepped up are Parks Harbor, Anthony D'Onofrio, and Alex Madera. The player who has impacted the team the most has 100% been Parks Harbor. He transferred here from Georgia, and he's made an impact in every game since joining the Heels. He's hitting .345, racking up 31 RBIs and 11 home runs. D'Onofrio and Madera are hitting .303 and .290 respectively, combining for 44 RBIs. They've taken the place of Matt Horvath, who was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles, and he played in right field and in the infield last spring for the Heels. These transfers, they're not just phenomenal hitters, they're great at fielding too. Harbor, he has a .985 fielding percentage, and Madera is at .982. So they know how to snag a ball to end an inning. Now let's talk about the freshmen on this roster. Luke Stevenson is hitting .297 with a whopping 34 RBIs, taking the place of catcher Tomas Frick, who was drafted by the New York Yankees. And Gavin Gallagher has stepped in for Jackson Vanderbrake at times this season, hitting .373, the best batting average on the team. I think these 5 guys are going to keep stepping up for the Diamond Heels, especially against the Fighting Irish right here at the Bosch this weekend. Now, Ashley, I've missed being at the Bosch since they've been away for the past couple of weeks, so I know I'll be there later today. Am I going to see you there?
Caroline, I can't think of a better way to spend my weekend. Now, this team had some success sweeping Wake, but then they lost their momentum against Virginia and lost that top 10 spot. What do they need to change going into this Notre Dame weekend and looking forward to playing State?
I think the Heels need to focus on their pitching. Dalton Pence, he's been struggling to throw a changeup in recent games like we saw in the UVA series. And a lot of their pitchers are freshmen, so they just don't have as much experience in these high-pressure ACC games. So I think they need to fix those pitching issues before going into Coastal Carolina and NC State this coming week. Both of those teams, they're ranked in the top 25.
Well, let's hope they can make those adjustments. Thanks, Caroline.
The Tar Heel softball squad took on Longview in a midweek matchup at Anderson Stadium on Wednesday evening. The Lancers took an early 2-0 lead, but Isabel Emmerling got UNC on the board with a solo home run, and Kate Bubella brought in another to tie up the game. UNC scored 2 in the third and the fourth, thanks to Emmerling contributing again with an RBI double. Longwood didn't go down without a fight, with Avery Miller hitting a 3-run shot in the fifth, but the Tar Heels bats came alive in the bottom of the fifth, putting up a 5 spot, which proved to be enough as they took home the win 11-9.
Speaking of women's athletics, a conference focused on promoting women in the world of sports was held yesterday in Durham. Sophia Pedroso was there.
Emerging Women in Sports Leadership Summit was only introduced last year, but is already a large and impactful event which facilitates an environment to empower and engage women passionate about sports and business.
We want to be significant. We want to matter.
The Durham Sports Commission and Women Leaders in Sports worked alongside the WISC Greater Raleigh chapter to organize the event.
And one of our speakers touched on that.
For our organization, anytime that we get to come in and bring young women, well, actually we have women at all levels of their careers here together, that's what we do. We want to create an impact.
The summit was promoted for current undergraduate students, recent graduates, or those in the industry for less than 7 years.
You know, wherever we can help each other and help the next generation of women coming up, I think is really critical for those of us that have been in our positions and have the power to influence and make change and create opportunities.
One of my mentors introduced me to
various programming, complimentary professional headshots, and a networking happy hour were among some of the opportunities offered for attendees. In such a large industry dominated by men, it's important to create a space for women where they can educate and support one another. I'm Sophia Pedroso reporting.
Although held in Duke territory, the Emerging Women in Sports Leadership Summit relates to female athletes within Chapel Hill and beyond.
As the challenging season continues for the number 15 UNC women's lacrosse team, they're looking to climb those rankings as they head north to play Pitt tomorrow. Carolina continues to improve in their most recent game against Virginia Tech. UNC capitalized on 1 draws and outshot Tech 33-20. In their 13-9 win, senior Alyssa Long had 6 goals. Carolina looks to repeat their success against Pitt and again next week against Duke as they close out the regular season.
For the first time this season, a Tar Heel has captured the ACC Offensive Player of the Week honors for women's lacrosse, and that is Alyssa Long. Long, the senior co-captain, earned this honor for the first time in her career as she went on an absolute tear on senior day against Virginia Tech last weekend, scoring a career-high 6 goals. This doubled her previous career high for goals in a single game and was the most by a women's lacrosse player in a game since April of last year.
Former Tar Heel and 7th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, Kobe White has shot his way into the Chicago Bulls record books. On Tuesday night, White drained this three-pointer against the New York Knicks, becoming the Chicago Bulls' all-time single-season three-point record holder with 205 made threes. White is the second player in Bulls history to extend 200 three-pointers in a single season. This season, White boasts a career-high average of 19 points per game and ranks among the NBA's top 50 scorers. He's also a contender for the 2023-2024 Most Improved Player.
Men's tennis is wrapping up the season with a weekend road trip against NC State and Wake Forest. The team is coming off a loss against another rival, the Duke Blue Devils, and are looking to find their stride before the end of the season. They face off against State today at 5:30 and then take a trip west to Winston-Salem for a match against the Demon Deacons on Sunday at 1 p.m. State is on a 3-game win streak, so big shots like this one from Patrick Ocean will be crucial in securing a win against the Pack. Wake Forest has tallied 14 straight wins coming into this weekend, and the Heels will have to bring their A game in their final match of the season.
After a successful senior night, the Heels will travel to Louisville to finish strong in ACC play. One of the highlights of UNC tennis has been watching the phenomenal recruiting class of 2020 trailblaze to the national championship. Seniors Fiona Crawley and Riley Tran had a day against Tech, clinching the doubles point alongside their teammates who swept the Hokies 4-0.
The defending national women's field hockey champs will kick off their spring season on Sunday against Virginia at home. To continue their achievements from last season, the Tar Heels will need to look to their offensive power as seen in their successful shootout against Northwestern in the championship game. The team will also need to lock in their defensive play, like Kelly Smith's defensive save and goalkeeper Maddie Kahn's 2 saves against Virginia last season, helping the Heels defeat the Cavaliers. The Heels are set to play at Karen Shelton Stadium at noon.
While UNC might stand for the University of National Champions, don't forget, this is one of the best universities around, and some smart cookies made the ACC All-Academic team. The Heels had athletes from wrestling, cross country, fencing, track and field, women's basketball, and men's basketball. To be on the list, you need at least a 3.0 for the semester and appear in at least 50% of your team's competitions.
The women's rowing team showed out at their most recent meet and looked to carry the momentum into their next race. The Heels will travel to George Washington this weekend to compete against other programs. They just finished with all 3 boats in the grand final and a 4th place overall finish. That was out of 16 Division I teams.
In preparation for the spring game, UNC football hosted an open practice Thursday morning. The question everyone is asking, who will succeed Drake May, incoming transfer Max Johnson or returning sophomore Connor Harrell? The pair took turns taking snaps, but it looks like there will still be lots of competition between the two to grab the open position. On the other side of the ball, the defense is looking spectacular. With the new addition of defensive coordinator Jeff Collins, the team is playing sharper and with more coordination. The spring game is a week from tomorrow in Kenan Stadium at 3 p.m. It will be your first chance to see a look at the new team for free.
4 members of the Carolina football team are a part of the 2024 National Football Foundation Hampshire Honor Society. Noah Burnett, Christopher Holliday, Spencer Rollin, and Spencer Triplett are the 4 who have maintained a 3.2 GPA or better across their collegiate career. Those Tar Heels receive certificates commemorating their achievement.
Although it might not be soccer season for the Tar Heels just yet, Sports Extra reporter Dylan Stalter tells us how 2 UNC students wanted to make the game more fun and inclusive for everyone.
Top Soccer is a recreational sports program for children and adults with disabilities, allowing everyone a fun and inclusive opportunity to play soccer. Working with the program in the past, 2 UNC students wanted to bring the program to Chapel Hill.
Brenna and I grew up playing Top Soccer and doing those programs, and it was super special for us growing up, and we saw how much the UNC community loves soccer, and we thought it would go over super well here. So we reached out to Top Soccer Nationals directly, and they're willing to work with us as the first college campus to have Top Soccer.
UNC Top Soccer had its first training session this March, with special appearances made by Ramses and members of the Tar Heels men's soccer team.
These kids don't often have the same opportunities that other students may have for recreational sports programs. So to be able to provide this and give them opportunity to meet UNC students and kids just like them, it could really mean a lot. And even though it is just an hour a week, it can make their week.
Each participant is assigned a buddy, a volunteer who keeps them active and engaged while building one-on-one relationships.
I think that soccer offers a really special space to have just a lot of fun and connect with others. So it's cool to see both the buddies and players out here making connections, talking with each other, having fun, and able to move around.
The players go through warm-ups and training drills and get to end the sessions with a friendly scrimmage.
We have games set up, but sometimes people do their own thing and meet new people and just make friends with it. So that's been awesome to see.
I'm Dylan Stalter, reporting.
Having fun and getting the community involved is what it's all about.
On Monday, we gave you our 2 nominees for Play of the Week, Vance Honeycutt's driving catch or the longest home run in NCAA baseball so far this season from Anthony D'Onofrio. And the winner is Vance Honeycutt. That's right, you can't keep him out of the top spot. He's a highlight reel play waiting to happen at any point. Against Virginia last weekend, Honeycutt went into an all-out sprint and laid out to take away what would have been a double. Make sure you tune in on Monday for 2 new candidates from this week. Bella, the UNC women's basketball team desperately needs a Vance Honeycutt type of player. Who do you think can be that person now that the transfer portal is open?
That's tough because UNC just picked up 5th-year Grace Townsend from Richmond. She seems to be the replacement if Deja Kelly decides to go elsewhere. Townsend is better from the field and has a higher assist percentage, but she's actually worse from the 3. I don't really know if they need a star. I think they may need some role players, and desperately, they need some size.
Yeah, well, hopefully our men's team can do the same and get some talent from the portal. And that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
We'll be back on Monday with all the highlights from another exciting weekend in Carolina athletics.